Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Langrisser Mobile. Alright, so I got all the new characters for this week, or this month, all upgraded as much as I could. If you saw my summoning video previously, you probably saw how much gold I had. I think I was floating around 21 million. I'm now below 1 million. Uh, yeah, upgrading 3 characters at once with all their bonds and doing enchants and equipment chants and all that is rather expensive. So we'll go ahead and go over the characters. So we got Liza here. As mentioned, her gimmick is she's like a kind of a jack of all trades, but probably the niche that she sticks out for is the fact she's a healer and a meteor faction character. So she's the very first meteor faction healer. She's not a great healer, but she can do it, which is more than I can say about the rest of the meteor faction. Her gimmick is she gets an attack bonus and heal, passive heal when she's in forest, grasslands, and desert, which kind of limits her use, unfortunately, especially in Apex. And then before the end of her action, she can choose to transform into either bear form, wolf form, or rabbit form. Bear form is kind of like a bulky form that increases healing received and adds a percentage of her attack into her defenses. And she gets to ignore melee damage penalties, which doesn't really matter if you have things like the extreme magic bow. As for her class choices, she can pick either assassin or archer, so she's always ranged. So this does have, I guess, some benefit. But really, it's the other two forms that kind of stand out a bit more. Wolf form makes it so she gets Terrain Master, which means she can go through any terrain that doesn't require flying. And she gets increased mobility, as well as increased crit chance. And then Rabbit form kind of makes her in sort of a very weak form of Liana, where she, after her action, she can heal everyone nearby for 1.5 times her hero attack. It doesn't dispel any debuffs, unfortunately. When she does transform, it goes on cooldown for 5 turns before she can choose another one. But she does have a unique skill that makes it so she gets, for 2 turns, she gets the ability of all 3 of her forms at the same time. And when she does this, it will allow her to move 2 blocks and attack again. And then once this effect wears off, she can immediately choose a new form. So this is a way to get past this 5-turn cooldown. Now, the ability itself also has 5-turn cooldown, so you do have to deal with that. As for her skills, she's kind of a little all over the place, as mentioned before. She has both Riposte and Plunder, as well as Sneak Attack for Assassination. She does have 1,000 Arrows for AoE. She can heal herself with the first aid. She does provide some attack support if you need it. And then, of course, she has access to Salvation, which is the skill Marielle has to heal using her attack. It does dispel 2 debuffs, which is kind of nice, but beyond that, she doesn't have much. Her only AoE healing is essentially her rabbit form. Anyway, equipment-wise, I kind of just went with this for now. I wasn't, as I mentioned in the summoning video, this kind of just snuck up on me, and I wasn't really as prepared as I would like to be. But I gave her Breeze because she's an assassin. If I were to stay with the assassin team for the next season of Apex, I would probably consider trying to use Liza, just simply because she is a character that can do other things besides just assassinate. Obviously, she's not good enough of a healer to, really compete against the top tier healers, unfortunately. And that's kind of the biggest issue with her is she relies on terrain, which is a kind of a killer in Apex, and her jack of all trades, master of none, is literally that. There are better assassins and there are better healers, but the fact she can kind of shift between the two does have its it does have its niche, to say the least. Anyway, we'll go ahead and dive into. Actually, I need to go over soldiers. She does get access to Siege Ballistas and Forest Night Elves. Honestly, I don't really know what troops I would pick for her. I went Forest Night Elves just simply because that's the highest damage assassin. Anyway, with all that, let's go ahead and dive into Awakenings. My father is no longer with me. I must try my best to survive on my own strength. Now, the biggest issue here is right now she's still 2 stars as an SR, so her stats are abysmal. Even more so than just being an SR. As mentioned in the summon video, she she is a story SR, but she is not locked to. Besides her initial summon, she is not locked into story. She does have a Gate of Fate, so you can actually farm her shards if necessary. Also, at this point, if you've been playing for a very long time, you probably have an accumulation of SR generic shards, so you can use that on her if you need to, if you're not going to use it on the next SR character. Anyway, I'm just going to stick with what I have. Riposte and 1,000 Arrows I think is fine. Alright, so with all that, let's go ahead and deal with this. We got the trio here. Do I have an archer? Attack is increased. Attack is increased by another. If it moves, you know what? Let's do siege. Actually, do I have them fully built? I think I do. Yeah, let's do siege ballista. So as long as I don't move, I'll actually get an attack bonus, which can be useful. Alright, so you do have... So what I'm going to do here is do this. And then move out of range. And then I can choose a form. Let's go wolf form for now. So now I get +1 movement, terrain master, and all that good stuff. Alright. So I'm not moving, so I can attack from here and get an attack bonus. Like that. And then I can do this. Do my transformation into all 3 forms. This cycles a turn, cycles my debuffs, and I can attack in place, which means I'll get the bonus from siege. And I didn't trigger Bolt Rangers, which is really nice. And I'm an assassin, so I strike first. Okay, and then you do have the air slash, so we'll go here. Alright, I do get 1 turn while I don't have the transformation, which is a little annoying, not the end of the world. Anyway, we'll attack in place. We should have advantages against angels. Alright, not bad at all. Alright, so she got her 6 skill points, which there's not really much I can shuffle around since I'm going to be using the 1 cost no matter what. Alright, instead of trying to follow my father's path, I'm having my own grand adventure. Alright, so we're going to have the protagonist peoples, and then of course we'll have Liza here. Alright, this Liza went with Forest Night Elves. Oh wow, she even went with the same build as me. And you can see this is our fully upgraded one. She gets 25% attack in forest, grasslands, and desert, which this map does have plenty of. So not much we can do about it. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, just seeing what we got options for. We definitely want to stay outside the range here for at least a turn. You're going to do your transformation, and that's going to move you up 3 spaces to here. Or sorry, move you up 2 spaces to here. So we actually want to move back a step. We'll go wolf form again. Alright. I'm gonna stay in place. Okay. And then move up. Okay. So that works. Alright. Let's go ahead and transform. I would like to take out that L meta if we can. Almost. Not bad. And I can move in with this. Alright. And then you get first strike, don't you? Oh, only in forest terrain. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and move in with you. Not bad. You're more likely going to buff yourself, so we can ignore you for a round. And we'll do what we can. Ooh, you have high M defense. Okay, instead we're just going to... Actually, that can't be dispelled. Yep, alright. And does a random debuff. We'll just ensure that we get your attack down. There we go. So taking out their Alameda will make sure we don't get hit with all the debuffs. Okay, not a big deal. Okay, not bad. Alright. I'm not gonna move, we'll just attack in place. I forgot about Grenier's Guard. That's okay. God, your defense is so high. Okay, wolf form, that's perfect. At least do this. Yeah, I do practically nothing, but I can at least get rid of the buffs that she has. Let's actually do Rabbit. Give a little bit of healing. Alright, and I want to go ahead and keep getting rid of your buffs. Alright. Yeah, I forgot, Garnier does get a stackable buff. You have practically no health left. There you go. So we'll negate the passive heal for a little bit, which doesn't matter because she's dead. Perfect. Okay, so that takes care of Liza. So we'll go over her 3C and show off her animation. Polymorphic choice. Alright, so there you go. So, skill-wise, we can do that and that. Okay, so polymorphic choice, it will do something different depending on what form you're in. If you're bear form, you will do 1.3 times damage and stun. Stun before combat, so it's essentially like shield bash or whatever it's called. Wolf form does bite, which ignores guard, and will deal fixed damage after the attack. And then rabbit form does makes it so you will restore health to everyone within range, and will dispel 2 debuffs. And if you are in the natural covenant form, you will do an attack that stuns before combat. It'll deal fixed damage, and it will restore health to everyone on the field. It doesn't guard bypass in this form though, which kind of sucks. But kind of neat. The only thing I don't really know about this thing is what the cooldown is. So I'll have to try that out later. Alright, this brought her power up a little bit, which is nice. She's no longer down by freaking Betty and freaking Anna. Alright, so next on the list we have Michelle. Alright, so our Michelle is 5 stars. Her special ability Magic Armor increases attack and defense by 15% if you have 1 or more buffs on you. I think at 3 stars it was like 3 or 2, and then it gradually goes down as you increase stars. She will apply Searing Flame after dealing damage to an enemy. Every stack of Searing Flame increases AoE damage taken by 4%. It lasts for 3 turns. At 3 stacks, you will deal fixed damage to allies within 1 ring range equal to 30% of their remaining HP respectively, and lose all their stacks. So even more extra damage. Classes, she can either be sword infantry or spears. I considered trying out sword just simply because you can equip the Ghost Blade, but she doesn't have high enough skill to really warrant trying the Ghost Blade. Because Ghost Blade with AoE can essentially do like extra cleansing, dispelling buffs and apply debuffs. But essentially, most people just go spears because it has better stats and more survivability. Both of them have the same attack. Anyway, as for her special abilities, she does have some single targets if you do try to use her in melee. She does also have ways to kind of defend herself. She doesn't guard or anything like that, but she can passively heal. Chance to reduce melee damage or ranged attacks, which is very helpful. But her unique skills, she has Magic Armor Substitute, which is she can place a duplicate of herself within 2 range. And any line AoE she does, it'll be based off herself and the duplicate. So if you happen to put the duplicate side by side with her and use a single line AoE, it essentially becomes a 2-wide AoE, which is kind of useful. The other thing it does is allow her to move 2 blocks again and attack again, so she can use it as a closer as well. And the only catch is you can't use both of them to stack AoEs on the same target. All it does is just increase its span, essentially. Her other unique skills are both line AoEs. She's got Scorching Lance, which does some damage, and if 3 or more enemies are hit, it'll reduce the cooldown by 1, and this has a 1-turn cooldown. So this is the weaker of her AoEs, but she can kind of do it back to back a bunch of times. And using this with Substitute, it's going to be pretty easy to get 3 or more enemies usually. Chrono Stab has a longer cooldown, but it has higher damage and can push enemies back 2 spaces. Alright, so with all that, her equipment's not as good. I kind of had to grab stuff from other people. Since she's definitely going to be relying on AoE, I went ahead and grabbed Aryan Rod, Scarlet Reaper. And then I didn't really have any armor choices at the moment, so I went ahead and just threw that on there. I grabbed Brenda's boots and gave it to her. And then I had spare Fury of Tear, so I went ahead and gave her that. And then I gave her magic to increase her AoE damage. So probably not the best options, but it's better than nothing. I actually didn't know what accessory to give her, but I went ahead and looked up other people's stuff and realized that she can use Apex boots, which gives her more mobility, which is always helpful. Anyway, let's do some awakenings. As long as I'm still in this armor, there's nothing to fear. Alright, so okay, this isn't too bad. We can work with this. Alright. So yeah, what we're just gonna do here is we're just gonna hit you with everything we have. Scorching Lance. And I have high enough mobility that I can literally just stay out of range for a bit. And push her away. Wow, this is actually kind of an interesting, I mean, I've already seen her in battle in Apex. Like, she's definitely a threat. You're not gonna get in range. Alright. Okay. Completely fine with just hitting you with this. weak against spears, so the AoE does even more damage. Alright, now she's coming down. Alright. So something we can do is put you here. And then move back. So yeah, it goes even further because it's also based off her position. Okay, reduce magic damage taken. Oh, is this... Feels like this is doing something weird. Yeah, it actually skips over the substitute's position. I did not know it did that. Alright, well, we're gonna wait until you switch back to other mode. Alright, and then I can go here and then hit ya. There we go. And then this will do less damage, but I'll get another stack on her. And since she's taking damage, I can at least proc that stuff. There we go. So even counterattacks will put that stack on her, so she ended up taking additional damage on top of it. I could probably have just wailed on her and still won the trade, but... Oh yeah, I didn't even go over her troops. She does have access to a, that new spear troop or whatever, the state guards. That's really the thing that stands out the most. Yeah, when initiating battle, ignores 15% of defense, and if they're forced into battle, it'll decrease the damage. They'll do increased damage based off how many steps they move. So it's really good for countering cavalry. All right, so next, the memory about my father is no longer in the armor. However, the brave heart he granted me will never disappear. So this battle might be a little wacky because we're going to be going up against one of her. Yeah, she has the same build. And you can see her at 6 stars, she has 20% attack as long as she has 1 buff. Which we can guarantee that she gets at least 1 buff, so that's fine. Celestial, Angelica, and Sissy White. Okie dokie. Increases. Okay, that works. Alright, well, I don't have enough coins to actually do anything in the first round. Yeah, and the Sissy White is not 6 stars. Alright. So... you can move to here and then do a line AoE. Yeah, depending on where she places it, it might actually be a problem. That's assuming the AI is smart enough to actually place it. And obviously the big thing here is... let's see, reduces enemy defense. Alright, so doing that, and then moving here. See if I can take you out immediately. Okay. We'll keep you out of trouble for now. So the range of this is what, 6? That one's 5. So if I were to go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I need to go here, and then 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I can do this. I could reduce the cooldown timer, but I'm not going to. And I can just do this. Okay. Alright. Fortunately, I can't do anything from here. You can do this. Ice is strong its spear. I'm gonna do this and just take you out, hopefully. Nope. Did not happen. Alright, what we're gonna do here is heal. And we're gonna bring out... It's tempting to attempt that, but I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be strong enough to actually do anything. So we're just gonna do this. Actually, no, it won't really matter. So yeah, let's do this. And at the very least, I can debuff you. Oh no, it was good enough. Cool. That is perfect. I'm just gonna wait for now. Okay. So do that. Just doing what I can here. Good enough. Okay. I'll just take the damage, it's fine. Okay. Oh, not affected by melee damage penalty. Alright, so that means I can do this. Let's actually just fight you. There we go. And then kill you. Alright, not bad. Okay. So all we got left now is Gustav, but first we'll need to go over this. Alright, so... Alright, decreases damage taken by 15% when fighting an enemy with Searing Flame. So anything that she hit with an AoE earlier will do less damage to her, which is great. Flame Attack will do... It's a line AoE that's 3 wide, which means it's 3 wide for the with the substitute as well. dispels 2 buffs. If 3 or more enemies are hit, the crit will increase by 60% and applies 1 stack of Searing Flame. Additionally, the cooldown timer of this skill is reduced by 3. So she already automatically applies Searing Flame on her own, and if she hits enough at targets, she has a high chance of critting. We'll add another stack to this and reduce the cooldown down from 5 to 2, which is pretty helpful. Alright, so good stuff. And then next is Gustav. There you are. Alright, our Gustav is 4 stars. After using skills, Int and M defense are increased by 6%, can be stacked 2 times. So kind of similar to, what was it, Hien's ability. After being attacked by an enemy and taking damage, the attacker has a 65% chance of obtaining the cooldown time of one random skill by 1 at the end of action. Can be stacked, lasts for 1 turn. Allies within 2 blocks have a 65% chance to reduce the cooldown timer of this skill by 1 after using a damaging skill and after entering a battle. So just her mere presence can influence cooldowns, which is kind of helpful. I think it becomes 100% when she's at 6 stars, but I'm not entirely certain. She does have access to a mage class and a demon class. Obviously, you're probably going to go mage because demon is way too vulnerable. And as for her skills, she has a ton of AoE. She does have some single target. It's all magic. She does have mass resist if you do need to bring a buff. She does also have access to summoning undead, which of course is only useful for grabbing chest and drawing aggro, essentially, for PvE. As for her unique skill, she has Reset. It's a single target skill that reduces all cooldowns for the target by 1 turn and heals by 5 times Caster's End. So essentially it's a pretty decent heal. It does have a 1 turn cooldown though. But essentially, yeah, she's like a Lucretius puppet. She can kind of just help people out by reducing their cooldowns. And then she has a unique single target skill. Does 1.6 times damage. It will restore by equal to 20% damage dealt. If the total cooldown of the target's current skills is greater than or equal to 3, you attack first, and the damage dealt is increased by 20%. Additionally, renders the target unable to receive healing for 1 turn before battle. So if the tank, for example, had used their faction buff, then that faction buff usually has a cooldown of about 4 turns. So they'll usually have 3 turns left after their turn ends or whatever. Which means if they are a faction buffer and they had recently used their faction buff, they become vulnerable to this time ring attack. For the most part, I haven't really seen this in action. Usually they tend to focus more on AoEs with her, just simply because of her 3C. Soldier, she does get Siege Ballistas, she does have access to Sorceresses. If you need to, she doesn't really have much for tanky type troops. She does have Skeleton Knights, and she does have Crystal Warlocks and Darks, but besides that, she has the only spear troop she has is Dark Centurions. Anyway, equipment-wise, I gave her a Blue Moon. I do intend on using her mostly for AoE, but if whatever the band pick ends up being a situation where a single target's just better, I figured just giving her a more generic staff would work better. Also, my red moons are all taken at the moment. I gave her a nebulous robe, and then I also took someone else's tenuous headdress and gave it to her, since she's always going to be around nearby people. And then Holy Ring, of course, for silence negation. Anyway, Awakening. I've woken up from a slumber. It's time to follow Lord Buzzle's steps again. So I have done her Gate of Fates, and supposedly the reason why she's quote-unquote a female android now is essentially every time she gets destroyed or whatever, she gets remade, and supposedly the gender and look get randomized each time. That's at least the reason that was given. Anyway, as for what we're going to do against our opponent here, I think I'm okay with just keeping what I have. What's the cooldown for this skill? Okay, we'll work with that. Alright, let's do this. So I'll hit you with this. Nice damage. Well, at least that staff won't be in the way. Alright, use the damage skill after entering battle. Okay, so the stacking buff does not get dispelled, which is helpful. Alright, and this only happens only after using a skill. So that's the important part. Wow, she's super far away. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cool down, reduce myself. Reset does not dispel any debuffs, unfortunately. Alright, so I have full stacks now, which is helpful. Unfortunately, I am out of range from you. That's fine, we'll just stay in place. Sorry about that. I was trying to click and drag and I ended up dragging my entire window almost completely down, so I'll have to check to make sure that didn't mess with the footage. Anyway, I'm just making sure... Okay, he doesn't have the extra movement nonsense, so we'll go with what we have. Okay, all healed up. I did proc the cooldown reduction, which helped. Yeah, allies within... Okay, yeah, not bad at all. We're just gonna back away. Let it come to us. I will need to go and kill that staff, which is annoying, but that's okay. Coming for ya. There we go. Alright, another skill point. The system has confirmed that Lord Licorice is the real Bozel. I'll protect her grand wish with my life. Alright. Same stuff as me. She is... So at 6 stars she gets 10% stacks. And yeah, it becomes a 100% chance for triggering her cooldown manipulation. Okay. Just seeing what we have. Okay. You have only your single targets. Got it. Okay. Alright. Alright, we're gonna shift you down to there. You can fly, so I'm fine with just leaving you up here. You can go, your thing is line based. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if I go up to here, I should be safe. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we can put you here. I have you go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can put you back 1. That should be okay. Okay, that works. Alright, so with that I can do this. Okay. So yeah, okay, it only affects active cooldowns. So instead of being 5 rounds, it's now 6 rounds because of Gustav there. Alright. And then let's go ahead and move in. We'll see if we can take you out completely. Yep. And then we'll just do this. One, two, three, 4, 5. Okay, so we'll go there for now. Okay, she did a single target, perfect. Alright, that works rather well. Let's keep the debuffs going. If I can, let's go ahead and take you out. I couldn't. You're not influenced by anything, so that's fine. Still short. Alright, well at the very least, let's take you out. Alright, here comes the AoE. No heals, because I heal negated her. Alright. Not much we need to worry about here. Your stuff's on cooldown, right? Yours is. Okay, so first strike. Kill that. Deal with you. Alright. All taken care of. Alright, so she gets access to disillusionment to time. Passive, if any of her skills are on cooldown, she gets increased unit range by 2. It's a 0.4 times AoE damage, which is pretty good. Applies 2 random debuffs. It also applies increased cooldown timer of all skills by 1. And after this skill, you gain Shield of Time, reduces damage taken by 10%, and renders all enemies unable to trigger cooldown reduction effects for the resonance clock. Last 2 turns and can't be dispelled. So a lot of debuffs. This technically does 4 debuffs, and gives herself a slight damage reduction buff. Really the thing that stands out, of course, is the unit range reduction, which can be kind of hard to trigger, I guess, in some cases. I mean, right now I can use reset, but once I get to 6 stars, I don't think that will actually be an option. Oh, only after using a damaging skill. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, I can use cooldown. I can use reset to technically trigger disillusionment to time. Okay. Yeah, and that's everybody. So we'll go. I don't know when the next Apex is starting. Yeah, we're still doing 6. Yeah, we're doing 16-8 still. So it'll be what, at least another 3 weeks before this season ends, and I don't know if there's going to be an off-season duration. There might be. I hope there is, just because it'll give me more time to get all the shards I need. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Hero. This was Langrisser Mobile. I'll see you guys next time.